There's so many people that study the law of attraction and how your thoughts create your reality, but ultimately there's only a select few people that actually get big results. And why is that? It's because they know something that you don't. This work is exactly what I focus on with my clients and ultimately allow them to get big results by just using their mind alone. Of course, they need to take action, but the concepts in this video is going to allow you to understand exactly how your beliefs create the reality you experience. I'm going to tell you exactly one, how this internal mechanism inside you works and how it turns your thoughts into things in your reality. Number two, I'm going to give you an insight into a weekly call that I've done with my clients and give you a 5-step framework that's going to allow you to remove any limiting belief that you have. And this actually works. So let's go to the whiteboard so I can show you concept number one. So the first thing that you need to be aware of is the internal mechanism. And I want you to understand how the beliefs literally create the life that you experience. And this internal mechanism is going to give you a good idea of how it actually happens, how thoughts turn into things. The first thing I want you to understand about the internal mechanism is that it literally has no bias. This mechanism will operate regardless if it's a good idea, if it's a good belief, or if it's a bad belief or a negative limiting belief. It will operate in the same way. And how it looks is this. You have beliefs. That belief will then create the thoughts and ideas that you hold in your mind. Those thoughts will then evoke an emotion. So you will have a thought come in and you will experience that thought as an emotion. Those emotions that you have will drive the actions that you take, and we can logically understand that that will then drive the outcomes and then the results of your life. And I want you to understand this even deeper when it comes to having no bias. So if there's a positive belief, there's going to be a positive thought. And then there's going to be a positive action that will drive a positive emotion, that will drive a positive action. And that positive action will drive a positive outcome in your life. As simple as that. There's no bias. The exact same happens when you have a negative belief. That leads to a negative thought that then drives a negative emotion that causes you to act negatively. And then therefore you have a negative outcome. And when you get this negative outcome, that then reinforces, again, that negative belief, which creates more negative thoughts, stronger negative emotions, and then the pattern repeats itself where you then act negatively. And that usually here, this negative action, a lot of the time for a lot of my clients before they work with me, is avoidance. It's procrastination. Okay? It's bad habits. That's the kind of actions that you then fall into this habit of doing. And if you have these negative beliefs that create this negative spiral, this is what you can think about it looking like. So you get these negative beliefs, you'll then think negatively, you have a negative emotion and then a negative action, and this is what happens. You go into this downward spiral. Think, feel, act, think, feel, act, think, feel, act, and it's this negative spiral. And this is the internal mechanism that has no bias and operates regardless of what you believe in. You believe in something positive, positive thoughts, positive emotions, positive actions, positive results in your life. This happens all of the time. And you can understand this. You know, people in your life that believe the world's against them, things are negative, things don't work out, they're just unlucky. I personally had beliefs instilled in me from when I was younger that money doesn't grow on trees. People like us don't become millionaires. All these beliefs that I had that I've had to rearrange and completely get rid of. I'm going to tell you exactly how you can do that. But essentially I had to get rid of this before I could start thinking about making 10, 20, 30k a month, before I could start even considering the fact that I was going to be a millionaire. Because ultimately what was happening was I had a lot of avoidance, procrastination, bad habits, smoking a lot of weed when I was younger because I was in these loops, because I had these negative limiting beliefs. But once I removed these limiting beliefs, 10k months became the normal. Helping my clients, Jay, Daniel, Richard, triple their revenue, Liam, double his revenue in the first 4 weeks. All of these results happen because there's a shift in the belief that then allows this internal mechanism to work in a way that gets you the results that align with the new positive beliefs that you have. So now that you understand the internal mechanism, let's go to a screen recording. I'm going to go back to the desk. Let's go to a little screen recording of the notes of my call that I done, the weekly call, and let's have a look at the 5-step process that you can use to remove limiting beliefs and move forward and start using this internal mechanism to get the results that you want. And just before I show you the framework from the call, my one-to-one mastery clients get access to this information and calls like this every single Monday night. If you want to become a one-to-one client and really start getting results like Jay, Daniel, Liam, double and tripling your revenue, click the first link in the bio and let's get to work. But let me show you this. So it's actually quite cool. My clients don't only get access to this wisdom every Monday, they get a full recording with AI taking notes, like you can see here. Fathom is an absolute godsend. And essentially this meeting was about how to completely remove limiting beliefs and allow my clients to understand the internal friction and resistance that are holding them back. But I'm just showing you the 5-step process of how to remove limiting beliefs. So here it is here. So the first step is to identify and pinpoint the specific limiting belief. This will come up and you'll notice this when you don't feel good. So there's 2 states that you can be in. In my last YouTube video I spoke about this, and it's a powerful state, or power, and survival. When you're in power state, you feel good, gratitude, love, peace, joy, abundance, all the good emotions. And in this state, you're not really going to get any negative beliefs or thoughts coming in. But when you're in this survival state, when you feel a bit of anxiety or stress, what you need to do is you need to notice that you're in that state, and then you need to pinpoint the specific thought or belief that is in your mind at that time. So that's the step 1. Step number 2 is you need to challenge this belief. You need to question its validity. Most of the beliefs, if not every single one of them, that make you feel shit and negative are not going to be true. They're going to be maybe your old self holding you back, or it's going to be an old program or an old belief that you've had since you've been a child. Like I spoke about the one that I've got, or I had. Number 3, you need to laugh at it and view it as unintelligent. You need to reframe it and really just see it as something that's not true, because it's not going to be 99.9% of the time. Number 4, you want to reframe it and you want to literally say out loud the positive opposite belief of that negative belief. So if it's I can't, change it to I can. And the last part of this is you using evidence to back up that empowering belief. So not only evidence of maybe a story of someone that's done something even more crazy than the thing that you are trying to believe in, but evidence to believe that that new belief is actually true based on what you've done in your life. And not only that, the evidence you then build off the back of that is action that aligns with that new positive belief. So you identify the belief, you challenge its validity, you then you laugh at it and view it as unintelligent and silly, because ultimately it won't be true most of the time. You reframe it, you state the positive empowering belief that's opposite to that, and then you use evidence to back that up. But not only that, you stack evidence by aligning your actions off the back of having that shift. Because when you have the emotional shift and change your belief, it's so important that you stack the new evidence to prove that you have had that shift and you're now the new version of yourself. So remember, there's a link in the first line of the bio where you can work one-to-one with me, where you can get access to these calls. But not only that, one-to-one coaching calls and a success system that must win every time that you tap into it and use it. You must win. So I appreciate your time and attention. Until the next YouTube video, I hope you enjoyed this slightly different format. But as always, I appreciate your time and I'll see you soon.